Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to another fantastic day out there. I hope you're having a great day. This is another episode of Life After KCPS on Real World Learning Friday. My name is Chris Odam, and I am joined again this morning by another person that I got to work with back in the old days. Back in the day when we were young, we're not kids anymore. But some days we sit and wish we were kids again, right? Since I went there, let's just go all the way there. I love that song. I'm joined by Eric Toliver. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So Eric's telling me here that he came out of that other school that I know in this district so well since I worked there a while, Paseo Academy, in 2011. That's right, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I remember him very well, participant in an awful lot of things in the school. Was on the stage sometimes doing some public speaking, doing some poetry. So just really want to rewind and revisit and find out what Eric's been up to, what his path has turned into, and how he knew to find it. In case you're watching out there, that's kind of the purpose behind these shows, as we've done quite a few, is to advertise some options and some chances for you to think kind of about your own possible path. And think through maybe somebody else's experience of, is that even an option for something you might consider? So, Eric, wind it back for me, man. You're coming out of Paseo in 2011. What happened after that?
Let's see what happened after I walked across the stage. Well, I started pursuing my bachelor's degree in theater and film. That fall from Missouri Western State University, and I graduated from there December 2017. I walked in the spring, but graduated in December because I only had one class left to take. And so graduated there, was very involved on the campus. From everything from student government to the Black Student Union to pledged a couple of fraternities on campus, helped start the restarted the NAACP on the campus, and then helped jumpstart the first scholarship for students of color on the campus. So I did a lot while I was at Missouri Western in the 5 or 6 years I was there, and it was kind of a struggle being a first generation college student. So that was an accomplishment for me, being the first one in my family to graduate from college. So I didn't have my family couldn't tell me about applying for scholarships. Thankfully, I had the staff at Paseo to kind of help me out with that. And even then I could, they were still a support system while I was at Missouri Western, because I felt lost. Like I didn't know who to go to for, hey, I never did this before. So what do I do? But since graduating from Missouri Western, of course, a degree in theater is not what most people do. So I've done a couple of shows. I've done one show since graduating from Missouri Western, which was actually during this pandemic. It was a virtual show. And also I'm working as an environmental service technician at Truman Medical Center. Started right at the beginning of the pandemic. So that's it so far for me. And working on a book that details my life in college. And also a podcast to talk about anything.
Right on. You say that's all for me, like you're not doing a lot. I don't believe that. Take me back into, like you said it real quick, like we even know what it is, but what does an environmental service technician do?
Okay, so environmental service, or EVS for short, is the hospital workers who clean up. They basically are responsible for cleaning the entire hospital, from the patient rooms to, um, you know, the CEO's office. Any cleaning that has to be done in the hospital. That's what environmental service does. Some hospitals call it housekeeping, but it's the same thing.
I see. Okay. Thanks for explaining. I was left in the dust a little bit on that one. But, so that's important work and something that definitely takes, I guess, your own mental strength. You probably
Yes,
see and experience things in the life of a hospital worker that are hard on you. Is that true?
yes, it can be,
Hmm. Okay. So,
because
but
some
you're
days we are short staffed, so we have to step up because we
absolutely.
may only have half of the staff to work with in that day.
Wow. Well, appreciate you for what you're doing. My sister's a nurse and works in the city, and I hear her stories, and I'm just aware that I'm probably not the right person to be in there doing some of these things. I would be immediately queasy or worried, or I bet that's a hard hump to get over the top of, and just know that you provide such an important service. So again, appreciate you for that kind of powerful work that you're doing there in an important place in the hospital, especially during all this concern. So you've been in there during the pandemic.
Yes,
Yeah.
right at the beginning.
Wow. What's that been like, since not everybody's had a view that?
It's stressful at times, but even before the pandemic, a job of that magnitude could be stressful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've worked everywhere from the clinic areas to regular patient rooms to the OR, the emergency room. So, and just because we see it on like those hospital shows, but just being there and actually seeing a person, a trauma come in and that person not make it, it's
Yeah.
kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, I imagine. Okay. Well, thanks for taking us into it. I know it's an important job, and I think people in the community certainly respect what you're doing. And I guess here we are, kind of talking about it in a community television show. So think about for a moment, I suppose, letting us in on some of your other projects. You said you're writing a book, right? And
Yes.
you're probably still pursuing things like theater. What are some of your goals, or what's behind wanting to keep that part of you alive and kicking?
Um, cause I say theater um because I actually, for the first time before I graduated from Missouri Western, um my professors were always telling me to get on the audition and get on the stage. So I just said, well, let me audition, not thinking I'm gonna be cast in the show. And then when I auditioned, got cast. So I said, okay, I kind of do like acting. They said, yeah, we know, because in acting class, that's where you belong, not behind the scenes where you're most comfortable. Step out of your comfort zone, like you used to tell us in creative writing class. Step out of our comfort zone. Um, and that's when I started to enjoy it. So, but I haven't done much theater except for the one show during this pandemic. So,
I see. But your goals are still to get in there a little bit and
yeah,
really fully actualize what that feels like. That's awesome.
yes,
I love it.
and possibly move, maybe to, New York or LA to pursue it further.
Gotcha. All right. You never know, right? It's amazing who you meet, or what one gig will lead to another, or a casting or something that you might be surprised that you fit the role for. So go for it, man. That's exciting, and I'm proud and excited to hear that you learned some of those lessons back practicing in the day to day life at Paseo. You're also saying, I think, that Paseo was a special place to you, or you felt kind of um, I don't know. I sure do. I spent 16 years there. But what do you remember about that place that helps you feel what you're doing today?
Um, even the middle school, which is not there anymore, because I went
It's all
Paseo
one.
from
It's all one building now. They're all in the same
yeah,
team.
yeah,
Yeah.
from 6th grade on to 12th grade. Paseo has had a special place in my heart because it helped me get out of that comfort zone and use the arts to express myself. Because even outside of writing, I never thought I would like theater or being on the stage until I started performing in coffee house and plays. Said I like this even more than I do writing.
Mm-hmm.
So, or just as much.
Yeah. What do you, since you went there, what do you think it is that you like more about it?
Um, I like the connecting with the character, or as far as theater goes, connecting with the character and helping that, being able to shape that own character as if I wrote the story or if I created that character. Um, and being able to get feedback from other people, which was an issue I had with when I was younger. Didn't like feedback from other people, but it's come easier now.
Yeah. Sure, for sure. It's actually more rewarding than anything else sometimes when you get a little older, because yeah, it surprises you. Like someone the other day just told me that they saw one of these shows as I was leaving the office. She's our head receptionist, Val, and she said, "Oh my God, I saw that episode you did with Marvel." And she didn't use the first name because she didn't know who, but she said that young Hispanic girl. That was just a fantastic story. You've got to keep doing these. And I'm like, oh, well, okay, I will, but I didn't know she was watching, and I didn't know that she'd ever seen these shows, but that was so real and so honest and so unexpected that, yeah, it's more rewarding than you realize. And that's feedback, right? And if she had said,
Yes.
maybe even I would think to do this a little different or something, I would have loved to know that, because I think it just feels like you're connected. Somebody heard you, somebody saw you.
Yes.
So very cool. Well, I'm excited you're having that experience and desiring it, because it really is, more fun than just being in your comfort zone. And if you're listening, young people, sometimes it's good to be comfortable, like hanging out and having things you want. But sometimes people grow comfortable with not everything that they could do or have, right? So that's that comfort zone. It's a two-way street. You don't want to stay in there too long, because you could continue to push and do things that might require more of you, right? But lead to even more down the road. So I think that's what I'm jumping in and giving advice on this own interview show. But let's throw it back to you. What you talked about, the comfort zone. You talked about continuing to challenge yourself and step outside of what you might have not expected you like to do. What other advice would you give to some young people who are Kansas Cityans who are out there watching today, that you think you might have needed to hear yourself when you were young, or you might think young people today could benefit from?
I would say to especially to all those getting ready to graduate from high school and go to college, um, or not go to college, because college isn't for everyone. Um, of course, I thought about dropping out a few times, but I was like, no, somebody has to be the first in my family to graduate. Why not me? So with that, um, I did get distracted a few times, but because I am a overachiever a little bit, but that's one of my regrets in college, was not staying as focused. Because when I graduated, my GPA was a 2.3, and I know I could have did better than that. So not being so hard on yourself to where you discourage yourself, but staying focused and understanding what the reasoning for you going to college is, which is the end goal, to get a degree. And for those who are not going to college, um, what's your next path? Where is it? Whether it's to start a career, why do you want that career? And kind of make a vision board, which is what I've been doing since leaving Paseo, and which is what got me through Missouri Western. I will look at it every day, and that will keep my mind focused.
Very cool. Thank you. And a strategy, that's a good one. A vision board. I learned a weird strategy that I do, since you brought up a strategy, that actually are these 4 squares. I do this each week. And this is things I need to work on this week. These are things I need to accomplish maybe next week. This is information I'm still gathering that I don't know yet, that I need to know in order to go forward with something. And then this is way down the road, like dreams, goals, stuff that I want to make sure that I get to. I do this every Monday, and I make a new one, and I throw away the old one, and I see what carries over. And I learned that from a fella at a professional development conference. And at the time I was like, that sounds like a lot of work. But it's a cool, kind of like your vision board. It helps me stay aware of all the things I'm supposed to be doing well, and then set my sights on some stuff that I want to do, not for anybody else but me. Right. Mm-hmm. So solid advice, Mr. Toliver. I appreciate you. I certainly remember, you were one of these people who are working on having wisdom, from your early days. And I remember hearing your wisdom back then. I'm hearing it now. So keep on that path, my friend. You're doing great things. And I do say, go get in some of these acting roles like you're talking about, right? You probably would fit into a lot of roles that people are starting to write that they might not have even just a few years ago, right? So get yourself in there. Start looking for some casting. Start practicing. I'd love to come see you in a production, and who knows, that I think that's likely. So
yeah, because I've played a lot of historical figures, I would say, from the most memorable character that I've played. Well, 2 memorable characters were Booker T. Washington in Ragtime, which is my favorite musical, and Mr. T in The Wedding Singer.
Oh, wow.
So those are 2 memorable characters that I played outside of those.
Very cool. All right. Well, if you're listening out there and you're looking for a young actor and putting a show, get a hold of me. I'll help you get a hold of Eric Toliver, or I'm sure you can get a hold of him in all these modern ways we have these days. But it's been wonderful catching up with you, sir. I look forward to hearing more great things about you. Stay in touch. This has been another fantastic show on KCPS Homeroom here on Life After KCPS on these Real World Learning Fridays. I'm your host and have been so honored to have all of these wonderful conversations. If you're looking for more episodes like this, you might look on KCPS TV, become a subscriber on our YouTube channel, and you'll find lots of Real World Learning Friday episodes just like this one. Thanks again, Eric, for being here this morning.
No problem.
You want to say anything last minute out there to Kansas City who might be listening today?
Stay encouraged during this pandemic.
Very good. You heard that, Kansas City. We're going to get there, and it's going to be all that work you put in, getting out there back into the city. It's going to feel so good. So we're signing off. Thanks again. Have a great day.